Hi, this is Professor Ruja with an introduction to Module 1. Welcome to the course. You'll see announcements posted on a regular basis um, and tasks posted as well, although most of them will be within the modules. So Module 1 you'll see is open. You click on it and you'll see there's quite a lot to the module here, but the most important thing is the module to-do list. Everything is based on the module to-do list. So open the module to-do list. This is the most important thing in each of the learning modules. You'll have a module to-do list to start everything. And this is important because it shows you step by step how to get through each of these learning units. So as you see, Module 1 covers chapters 1 and 2 in the summer and again in the winter. We don't do chapter 3 because we just don't have time to dive into that in the short semesters. We do it in the longer semester. But again, step 1 is to, again, open your book, read chapter 1, learning objective 1, and I've listed the page numbers in the 6th and 7th edition. They should be the same or very similar. Again, key concepts are things that you want to make sure you understand the definitions of, which is important for the quizzes at the end of each chapter, and of course the exams at the end of every module. What I've also done is I've included in these steps not only the information to read and the concepts, but videos. These are usually short videos, between less than 3 minutes usually, that explain some of the concepts that you'll be reading about in your book. Okay, so your first little video here, this link should be, you can right click and it opens in a new window, and it should take you right to the YouTube video on SMART goals. Again, here's another step 3, which is about learning objective 3. Step 4 is about learning objective 4 within the first chapter. And again, here's another little video. Now, if you notice step 5 here, we're at the end of chapter 1, and it talks a little bit about your career choice and education and income. And so I'm having you do a discussion board question, which is going to challenge you a little bit on your choices for career and education and your pursuit of income. Now, if you notice that even though this discussion board question is listed here on the to-do list, you actually have 2 ways to get to it. Within the module, as you'll see, I have the slides for the chapter posted for you, so you don't have to worry about that. And here is the career choice discussion board question. So you can click on this, but the easiest and best and simplest way to get there is to click on the discussions link, which is to the left, and open up the discussion board question here. As you notice, there are 2 articles that need to be read, and you have to reference the articles in your response to get full credit for the discussion board. Okay, so the career choice is the first one that's part of Module 1, Chapter 1 on your to-do list. Okay, and then the last step for Chapter 1 is to do the quiz. Okay? So after every chapter, there'll be a short quiz, all multiple choice type of stuff mostly, just to see if you've got the major points and understanding of each of the chapters. Now, as you see, step 7, all the way to the end here, step 13, is all about chapter 2. Chapter 2 is a pretty heavy and engaged chapter here. There are several, not only do you have to do some reading, as you always have to do in every class, is reading and understanding the key concepts that are listed here, but now you have a lot more homework. We have 2 activities that are based on the financial statements that are introduced to you in chapter 2. There's another discussion board question, which again, you need to go through the link. There's a very, very short paper that you'll love when you're done with it. And then there's some homework on the time value of money. The homework isn't meant to be a tough grade. It's just meant to make sure that you understand how to do the time value of money calculations, future value, and present value. And I have links listed here, okay? So you can actually go ahead and see examples of how those are done. There's good examples in the book. The book actually has little boxes that explain how to do it, and I think they're really, really good. But a lot of folks like to watch videos to see how it's done. So I've provided those as well. Again, at the end of chapter 2, there's a review quiz. Again, we don't do chapter 3 in the summer or winter sessions. We just don't have enough time. And then the module ends with an exam. The exam is on both chapters or whatever chapters are in each of the modules, okay? So let's go back into our module here, and you'll see that I have laid out for you. Of course, you'll have slides to the chapters. So not only do you have your book, but you'll have the slideshows provided to you. Here are the activities that I have listed here. Activity 2-1, the instructions are provided here. And then there's there's an Excel template or a worksheet that I've provided, which you'll have to fill out and return to me as part of this particular activity, okay? Same thing with activity number 2, the explanation of the activity is listed here, and then the worksheet, in this case, it's an income and expense statement that you'll have to do. And again, that has to be returned to me directly through this. So when you click on this, you'll see the activity listed. And then, of course, you'll have a chance to attach files and send it back to me, okay? And that's important. So for those activities, you must use the Excel templates that I've given you here. Do not send me numbers. Do not send me any of the other spreadsheet applications. I can't open them through Blackboard. So it's an automatic 0, where these are already set up for you to do well, okay? They're not difficult. They're just introductory types of things so you can learn some of the tools that are available to you to do well in personal finance. There's another discussion board question that is a very interesting one because we have this choice all the time. And you see it when people start losing their jobs as they are now. Whereas, you know, we have choices, particularly when we start earning more money. We can either, you know, continue to increase our lifestyle and thus be required to earn a lot more money to maintain it. Or we can just be satisfied with a certain lifestyle, and any extra monies we earn can be used for other things, okay? And so the important choice that we have in life, as always, particularly as we get up in income levels, is spend less or continue to earn more. And it provides an interesting dichotomy, and it's a very interesting choice, particularly as you get older through your financial life cycle. That's why a lot of people make a very difficult choice when they retire. They, you know, they still want to spend a lot of money, but they don't have it because they're not working anymore. So some people go back to work. Some people have a really hard time dealing with that. Some people dive into their home with a reverse mortgage and tap into the equity there because they don't know how to spend less. They don't know how to live on less. But it is amazing on how much money we do need to maintain a certain level of spending for our living. And then there's all the extra stuff that we do. And that article is going to ask you to think about all of that. There's a short paper called a consumption analysis, and it's actually quite simple. I'm going to ask you to look around your room, look around your house or apartment, and look at all the stuff that you've purchased that you don't use. Okay. We live in a consumer society, right? The culture of the country is one that you're doing your duty by going and spending money. Right? It's the economy, right? It's all about the economy. So in this case here, we are kind of brainwashed, if I want to use that term, we're brainwashed into the culture that spending our money is a good idea. And so, and there's lots of ways in which we can spend it. And we are, of course, very impulsive shoppers. You know, that's why they put a lot of stuff in front of us. That's why the stores are quite large. Because when we get in there, they don't really want us to leave, because the longer we stay, the more money we spend. And that's how they make money. And that's their right. Again, I'm a business professor. I understand all that. I appreciate that. But I also know that as a person who wants to have some degree of wealth and comfort, I can't be giving my money away to these folks all the time. I have to have a plan. And where we live in a situation where we are basically kind of brainwashed through advertising mostly, that spending money is a good idea. And oftentimes we spend money and we don't use the stuff that we buy. So the consumption analysis is going to ask you to look through that and make sure that you understand how much stuff that you might have purchased that you don't use. Part of this analysis that makes it more interesting is I'm asking you now to divide that into your hourly rate. So the last job you had, whatever hourly rate you had, divide it into it. So if you spent $100 and you made $10 an hour, you spent 10 hours of your life working to buy stuff you didn't use. And one of the things that I want you to think about in this analysis is, are you respecting your work? Are you respecting your time? Do you really have to work those extra hours to buy stuff you didn't use? Is there any other way that you could think about valuing your hard work and valuing your paycheck in a different way? Be more mindful, more thoughtful of the hard work you've put in and how you want to spend that. And this particular analysis paper, I think, is going to help bring home the concept of opportunity cost, because it's really about opportunity cost. You're only going to earn that check once. You'll get a new check next week, but you're only going to earn the check you got now once. And so you're going to have to make choices with that. And are you making good choices? That's really what the purpose of the paper is about. And I think you'll get, it's a very insightful, it's supposed to be an insightful reflection. It's not supposed to make anyone feel bad. It's just supposed to be a reflection. Part of my job here is to make you think. And this is going to make you think. So I think you're going to enjoy that particular analysis paper. Again, the next thing on the list here that's listed, that's part of your to-do list, is the homework for time value of money. There's just a few short questions here. Do you understand how to do future value of a lump sum, future value of annuity, which is a continuous payment, and present value, which is the opposite of future value. There's a quiz on chapter 2, simply on chapter 2, and there's a lot to chapter 2. This is going to take you a while to get through. And then there's an exam at the end of every module. In this case, module 1 exam is on chapters 1 and 2. Okay. So again, everything flows from that module to-do list. That's probably the most important thing. I've embedded the links to make it easier to right-click and get to those videos. And I have several videos for you that I think are very helpful in understanding the concepts. And certainly in the last case here of understanding how to calculate future and present value. So that's, those are the goals of having those particular links. There's going to be a lot more links in the future modules, a lot more links. And so you'll get used to going into the YouTube and finding these particular videos that I have for you. And again, just note the due date. It is a lot of work. And notice this entire, actually the entire module itself, every little thing that you do, the quizzes, the discussion boards are worth a certain amount of points that are noted here. And so please make sure you are, you're getting as many points in each module as possible, because it's the total number of points that's going to help calculate your grade. So there's no reason you couldn't do well. just get those points done, okay? Again, I'm around through email, so please feel free to get in touch with me. But I hope this was a helpful overview of the module.